a banner appeared in the Bayern end, calling Dietmar Hopp, who is, let's call him the benefactor of Hoffenheim. He's not officially the owner because they have a 50+1 rule, but he put a lot of money to back, basically calling him an SOB, to use a euphemism. He's been getting a ton of abuse lately everywhere Hoffenheim goes, and we'll explain why later. This caused a lot of animosity. The Bayern players went over. They asked the fans to take the banner down. The referee suspended the game. The players went down the tunnel. Then they came back up. Basically, it was almost as if they were applying the racism protocol.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Eventually, when both sets of players came out and started playing again, but they didn't really play. They simply stood around and they just passed the ball to each other, played keepy-uppies, and that's how it petered out. And some people came out and said, "Oh, but this is a great day in German football. We've turned over leaves. The players aren't going to stand for this kind of abuse and whatever else." I'm uncomfortable with the whole thing, with the players taking it upon themselves to go and do this in this specific situation.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Now, for those who don't know, the reason Hopp gets so much abuse is twofold. Now, he's gotten abuse for a long time because
but I think you should explain the 50+1 rule for the listeners who don't know it. What happens in Germany when you want to own a club in Germany?
Yeah, so basically in Germany there's something called the 50+1 rule, which says that you can't have a majority owner who owns a controlling stake in the club. And it's something that they do to keep the clubs sort of more involved with the fans.
So
and
members
the community,
own at least 50%.
Club members, yeah. In recent years, we've seen two cases where that has been circumvented in different ways. One of them, of course, is Leipzig. Yeah. The other one is Hoffenheim. You've had very wealthy benefactors coming in and in different ways pumping enormous amounts of money into the club. Now, Hoffenheim is a tiny place, tiny club historically, in the middle of nowhere. They've done this. This ruffled a lot of feathers, but this was sort of 7-8 years ago. They've been around a long time. What's driven this forward is that a lot of German fans were kind of traditionalists who liked the fact that you don't have individual owners, who don't like a lot of the trappings of modern football. We saw the protest
the Monday night game.
Example, basically, they routinely go and they put up banners and they routinely sing about this and abuse whenever they play Hoffenheim and when they play Leipzig. Now, what's happened with Hoffenheim more recently is twofold. One, the Borussia Dortmund ultras have been warned about not putting up banners against Dietmar Hopp. They went on probation. They did it again. So as a result, the German league banned them from traveling to Hoffenheim. Traveling to Hoffenheim for the next 2 years.
Yeah.
Other clubs, other ultras out of solidarity said, "Well, wait a minute. We're just speaking our mind. You can't do this." On top of that, separately from this, what Hopp has done, which I think, I'm really not comfortable with at all. He actually, when Borussia Dortmund played at Hoffenheim, he hid microphones in the stands so that he could effectively gather evidence about the Borussia Dortmund, and he's taken civil action against 3 of them for calling him an SOB and other nasty words. Personally, I'm not comfortable with this at all. It's not nice to go and insult somebody. On the other hand, what else? How else are fans supposed to go and organize? I think to go into for a billionaire to go and start suing individuals.
But the fact that he's a weirdo and a control freak, I give you that, and I think that was out of order what he did with the Dortmund fans. I still don't think that you could insult with a banner like this that will be on television in front of millions of people around the world. Just insult someone and calling him an SOB in that manner. I don't think that's right either. And I think I understand why ultras are not happy and why
we should point out that this is a case of solidarity between fans from many different clubs. Borussia Mönchengladbach,
Union Berlin did it on Sunday as well.
Dortmund and Bayern. So traditional rival sets of fans are saying, well, wait a minute, these people are taking our game away from us. That's how they see it.
Yeah. But again, I think, for example, the Monday night game protest, from the same set of fans, I think have been quite creative and quite good. They clearly don't want any Bundesliga games on the Monday night.
Right.
They did all sort of protest about it. They threw tennis balls on the pitch, that kind of thing. I think this was out of order. To insult someone like this with banners
But it's happened before, though.
Yeah, it's happened before, but it's not because it happened before that you should do it again and again and again. So I think it's right from the league and also from Karl-Heinz Rummenigge to show. So whether you like Hopp or not, whether you think that he should not be in the position that he is now or that he's a weirdo and everything, yeah.
See, when it comes to free speech, I'm a bit of an absolutist.
No, I know you are, and I know we disagree on this.
I strongly disagree. I think
this is not the place for it either.
What is the place? You could go and do it in your own living room?
No, but like, this is a football stadium. You go there to watch football. You don't go to insult people, right?
No, you go there to make a statement where it's going to be visible.
Yeah, but not to insult people. You don't go to a football match to insult people. That's not what you do.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying you necessarily do that, but I don't have. I have a serious issue with the fact that he doesn't like. You are a public figure, right?
Yeah, no.
And this idea that, well, you can't be insulted. People can feel insulted for many different ways, right? They're going after him because of his behavior and trying to shut them down.
No, and I give you that.
And I have an issue. The other thing, which doesn't sit well with me, and a lot of people have remarked about this, is, well, first of all, I think you said this too, right? This whole Bayern and the players refusing to play because a billionaire gets called an SOB.
That's ridiculous. Because had the game been 1-1 or 0-0,
if they needed the points, would they have done that?
Race,
yeah.
Bayern Munich would have attacked, 100%.
The other point, which a lot of people point out on social media, is wait a minute. A billionaire owner who's done a lot of controversial things gets called an SOB, and all of a sudden, you guys decide to effectively stop playing. But then we've had incidents of racist abuse.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say it's business as usual, but you don't see players reacting that way.
Yeah.
I just felt disappointed in the Bayern players that they kind of went along with this. I think they just should have said, let the referee do his job, right?
Yeah.
If the referee says, look, under the rules, we're going to suspend the game because of that banner, which, by the way, I don't understand why they couldn't have sent in security and had the banner removed, which would seem more reasonable.
And which happens in every country.
And which happens,
countries when there's a controversial banner.
Yes, which happens in normal countries where people don't wear sandals with socks. But for you to go and do this, I think is kind of an insult to many different people, including people who paid to watch the game, and people had nothing to do with the protest. I know they were applauded. People are like, oh, but look, everybody applauded Dietmar Hopp. You're in Hoffenheim.
Yeah,
most of those home fans wouldn't have been there. It's his stadium. It's his employees, his people. I think this is going to run. And I think...
Do you expect Bayern Munich as a club like Dortmund were? Because Dortmund were also sanctioned of, I think, a fine of 50,000 euros. It's not the amount is not the problem here. It's the fact that could Bayern Munich get fined, for example, for the fans' behaviour? But again, like you said, they expressed, whether you agree or not with the insult or not, and we disagree, but what?
I don't think Bayern would get fined because as a club, right, they went along with making this statement, and I think whatever fine they get is going to be relevant. I do think that it does create another issue potentially between Bayern and their fans.
Yeah.
You don't... It's a difficult... It's bad optics, right?
Yeah,
because if you're a fan, you're going to say, well, wait a minute. You're hanging us out to dry here. We're the people who go out and support you week in, week out. We care about this club. We'll be at this club after most of these players are long gone. You may disagree with us on the abuse of Hopp. It's not really going to cost you anything. It doesn't affect you. You're basically shutting us up and making us look like the bad guys here.
Yeah.
And we don't expect that from you.
Yeah.
Again, I would have thought, Bayern, go back out there. Just play your game. Don't get involved in... Bayern isn't like the club. Don't get involved in this. It's a problem between Hopp, the authorities who regulate the stuff, and the fans.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPNFC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.